And we're live. Hi, everybody. It's Analytical Chick, and I am here with guest Halsey, and maybe other people will be joining us. Say hello to everybody, Halsey.
Hello, everybody. It is great to see you, hear you, talk to you. Very happy to be here.
I see you got a new cartoon there, profile picture, Halsey.
That's me and the new show new show name after we rebranded.
And your guy that makes your thumbnails and stuff makes that stuff for you, right?
Dustin made these.
Oh, so when you were gonna have somebody make my thumbnails for
No,
me, that
that's
was
my
Dustin?
guy. No, that's actually my graphic designer. But these all these recent ones,
Ah,
Dustin made them all.
so Dustin's got some skills.
Yeah, he's good. He's real good.
Yeah, I mean I wanted to make my own logo, but it really isn't as nice as some of the other ones that are like professionally done.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it's going to be something that's going to brand you like your show and your kind of your business and all that, you should really do it like right, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not like doing it for money. Eventually, I think what I'll do is I'll build on what I have now.
Okay.
So, like,
What's eating you up? You wanted to stream tonight, so what's getting under your skin?
um, nothing in particular. I just um but I actually thought I was gonna have like an open night, and then tomorrow, um, I have time tomorrow, kind of. So it's like, hey, why don't I stream? I haven't streamed in like a week or two.
You have
I,
not
I
talked to
streamed
the
last
people.
night, but like I streamed by myself, so that's
You have
different.
not talked to the people.
I have not talked to the people exactly. Well, I streamed last night at like 3 o'clock in the morning, but
Okay.
that was a little different because it was like basically like instead of recording, I decided to just straight up stream.
Okay.
So the stream was basically what I would have done recording. But at one point I did check in. It was also 3 in the morning, so I only had like one person who commented at one point.
Analytical chick. There was something in the air yesterday. I never stream by myself. I always have either Dustin or I always have a co-host. I find that I'm more comfortable when I'm talking to somebody than just kind of rambling. And yesterday
Right.
I streamed by myself, not once, not twice, but thrice. So just at random times, I was like, I got some time and I feel like streaming. So I just jumped on and did it. And it worked out really well.
Well, it was the way I did mine was I streamed from OBS, and what I basically did was instead of recording, it was essentially what I do when I sit down and record. But the thing is, I normally record because then if I screw up, I can stop and start over. But I was like, I know basically what I want to say, so I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna stream it because I never do that. And also, I just wanted to see how it worked, and I figured 3 in the morning is a good time to like see how stuff like that works, because if it doesn't work right, then like most likely people aren't watching and they're seeing it later, and you can delete it if it didn't work out. I mean, it semi didn't work out because it took from the internal mic instead of the external mic that plugs in.
Boy.
But I mean, otherwise, like it sounded kind of fine. I was a little choppy at some points, but I was just like, whatever. I'm not redoing it.
So something's got to be on your mind though. Let's have some fun. You said that someone was jumping on. They wanted to talk about like anti-Semitism or something.
Well, one of the people that I've invited for streams, she was like, I will talk about anti-Semitism, and then she named the crazy congresswomen, plus she also named Linda Sarsour.
Who are just all scumbags.
Yeah, exactly. So those are like her things, like basically like I mean, she's Jewish. She's retired lawyer. I found her. Did you hear about the Amar Shaheen incident?
Expand more. I'm not sure.
So this is an imam. in Davis, California, who literally called for jihad against the Jews in his sermon one week.
Awesome.
This was back in 2017. Now, this happens all the time in the Middle East, but this was different because it happened in the States.
Right.
And it happened in Davis, California, and she lives in Davis, California, and she's Jewish, so she ended up being kind of like going on to podcasts and stuff and talking about it. So I reached out to her, and that's how I found her. And we've continued to keep in touch. And I was like, hey, why don't you come on my show? Talk about that, talk about other stuff. And she's like, yeah, these are the only things I want to talk about. Like, okay, because I also like opened up an invitation to her to come on, like when I have somebody else on and they pick the topic, but she can come along as well. And she was like, yeah, I don't really want to talk about other stuff in politics. I mean, some people have their specialties and other people, talk about pretty much anything.
Yeah. I mean, listen, haven't you ever heard the expression when people say, don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics unless you want to piss everyone off? Well, I mean, A, we're Jews, we don't listen to it. And B, like, I mean, I was always that one who like would have conversations for 10 minutes and then everybody all of a sudden needed a drink or like had to go check out like the snack table or whatever it was, because that's like all I wind up talking about is religion and politics.
Yep. Yeah, so I was like, I haven't streamed in a while. I mean, I don't have a ton of people. Well, I have a lot of people to ask, but it still doesn't seem to be enough people to ask if they want to stream, because every time I ask if anyone wants to stream, most people don't. So every couple of weeks I try a group of people and see if anyone wants to stream. So so what, you have Ryan Dawson coming on your show tonight?
I do. Well, it's the weirdest thing. Like I told him that we're not talking about, he doesn't want to talk about Israel with me on a show. And I don't want to talk about it with him.
Right?
Not even a little bit.
Oh.
So it's just he's incredibly anti-Israel, right? He's a libertarian. He's a civnat, and he literally believes that everybody can get along if they just try hard enough.
Oh.
And he's like an anti-neocon. He's like the opposite of a neocon, right? So but I guess he said that in a show, like he freaked out on the audience and was like, guys, I don't hate Jewish people. Like I'm against what Israel does. You know,
what does he mean? What Israel does?
like he doesn't like Israel. He's anti-Israel. So, but he's like, I'm not alt-right. I don't want to put all of them in a gas chamber. I don't want to kill all the Jews. I don't think they're subverting the world. And they mass reported him. And like he's got like 2 YouTube strikes now. His Facebook got oven. Like
who mass reported him? The alt-right.
Right. And now he's like hanging on by a thread.
A Jew hater.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody from the left is like trying to report my videos, because some idiot who seems like a leftist keeps commenting on like all over my channel. He keeps commenting on like different videos, and he actually accused the 17-year-old that I had on. He actually accused me of having him on and saying that he's alt-right. Like, no, he's not. Like he's even a little bit of like I wouldn't call him a neocon, but like he's more like he's not like an alt conservative at all.
An alt conservative. I like that one.
Yeah, like I would say you and I are like alt conservatives, where we're more like, okay, let's push the buttons, let's talk about stuff people don't want to talk about, and we're online a lot, whereas, you've got CPAC. Well, I guess here's something that we could talk about. Did you hear about CPAC?
Are you talking about the gay and tranny fest that used to be considered a conservative political action committee meeting?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure we were talking about the same thing.
So I haven't watched any of the videos yet, but I saw a couple of videos about the bannings, and then I did kind of look through because like Vince from the Red Elephants was like, "Oh my gosh, the only good speaker was Michelle Malkin." I looked through at the videos they had up. They have a video up from Janine Pirro, which Janine Pirro is usually pretty tough talking, but I saw some of the and then they had CNN there. Why was CNN at the freaking CPAC? I mean, come on.
I think they were always there, though.
Were they?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a big event. It gets covered by most of the media.
What do they say? These horrible racists have their little conference right now. I mean, they always lie about us.
But I mean, you know who actually like started inviting all like the fags there and like started like getting it like to be a more gay friendly? That was Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter was the one who got who,
Really?
yeah,
I
she
like Ann Coulter.
I listen, I have my own opinions about her. I don't love her or hate her to tell you the truth, but um in the end of the day, she was the one who suggested that they should be, less socially conservative and more about, like all kinds of stuff,
Mm.
you know? And
I
she
don't think
started
she
getting
spoke there this year.
what?
They had
No, they
like
wouldn't let
they
her.
had a lot of politicians this year. I at least looked at the speaker list. They had almost every Republican there. Marsha Blackburn, Lindsey Graham, a bunch of congressmen. I
So, like
believe
I said, Lindsey Graham, gay. Brandon Straka, gay. Scott Peterson is his name. Pressler. Scott Pressler was there, gay. Like, I mean, hold on. You just got to hold on a second. I'm going to mute myself for 1 second, okay?
Okay. All right, everybody. Let's see if there's any in chats. I'm gonna come over and see if you guys are chatting. Oh, people are chatting. Hey, Tony Patriot. You're welcome to join. I emailed you the link. Yosemite Sam, how you doing? I don't even know who Yosemite is. And Patriot Rev says hi to me. At the CPAC Boomer Talk, Ryushik's having computer issues right now. Philip Daniel. Yeah, I was talking about Tony Patriot. Tony Patriot, I invited you. I sent you the link. It's in your email if you want to join us. I'm working next time. Everybody's busy. So, uh, so how is everybody today? Now, Tony, you're from Florida, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just a guy who has continually crossed paths with you at Timcast. Oh, and Laurel, you know Laurel too? Laurel's great. I had Laurel on. Everybody making those shekels. Correct. And Halsey's still muted. He probably has a cold or something. I fixed. That didn't take long. Originally from Baltimore, Maryland, moved to Florida to get away from the leftists. And probably to get better weather. Would you say that too, Tony? Um, there's a YouTuber. I don't think he lives in Baltimore, but I know he lives in Maryland, the state. Um, Tom Binns. So I streamed with him before, but it's been a while. Um, um, another person who can't make it. So, so yeah, we're gonna. Oh, that's why. Um, yeah, so all right. So and Halsey comes back. Yeah, so this isn't going to be that long of a stream. It's just kind of, I figured if people were around, we would chat. It was nothing important. I enjoyed your rant on the backup channel. Oh, yes. So for those of you who don't know, I have a secondary channel. And here, actually, I'll put it in the chat. I'll open it up and I'll get the channel and I will put the channel in the chat. So that's where I put a couple videos there. Um, the idea is, oh, I'm up to 12 subscribers on it. Woohoo! One video actually went like semi-viral, and it's up to 4,000 views. So, all right, this is my second channel. You guys can sub to my second channel. It's not like well, I guess I don't really get strikes like some people do to where I really need to be like, oh my gosh, I have to have a backup channel. But what it is was when I opened this channel, I used an email address that was something else. It was actually my Hebrew name. And I was actually just blogging under it. And when I had the blog, I reached out to a smaller YouTuber and I was like, oh, maybe you'd be willing to plug my blog. So she did plug my blog to my surprise. She was like, yeah, some guy tweeted me. His name was, so completely mispronouncing my Hebrew name and thinking that I was a guy. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I must change my name. So, I realized that my Hebrew name was not going to work if I was using a non-Jewish audience for the most part. So I went ahead and picked, it had been a nickname of mine a while back, but my mother always told me, oh, all you ever do is analyze everything. So here I am, analytical chick.
Analytical chick. Analytical chick
Oh, he's
is
back.
her Hebrew name. I'm sorry, that was actually a really sad call. I'm hoping like he probably won't hear it. So now you know a person I know just like they lost a pregnancy. So like a
Oh, like the wife did.
yeah. So I so it's like one of those things. You're like, hey, how you doing? Ah, I'm sorry, man. Like oh, that's terrible. Like
People don't usually tell me. I had one friend that, like, I asked her, I was like, oh, are you up to another kid yet? Because, like, you know how we are in the Jewish community, like, 2 years passed, you must have had another kid. And she was like, no, I actually had a miscarriage. And I was like, oh, okay. But, like, that's something that, like, people don't usually, like, women don't usually tell anybody. Like, I don't think men usually tell people that, like, their wives had one. So, is it a close friend, maybe?
no, it's a member. It's a cousin. But I'm saying
Oh,
like it's also that I mean they were pretty far along, so it was everyone
God,
knew that you know it
that
would
sucks.
like they would have to say something because sooner or later people would be like, why is this thing not happening?
Yeah, right?
You know,
It's the same name. How did you do that? So, oh yeah,
what
so
is
it's
your Hebrew name?
Michal.
Michal. That's fucked up. You know my dog Shaniqua that I always talk about my dog Shaniqua. That Michal was her name when we got to the pound, and they told us that like we were adopting her because it was in Israel. That was her name, Michali. They called her, and we were like, yeah, we're not calling a dog Michal. So like the whole thing came down. It was a funny story, but we wound up naming her Shaniqua. We still have her. She still runs around the house.
Which is funny because when I was a kid, we had a dog named Nicole. We got it from the pound and it was named Nicole. And I was being a smartass. I was sitting in the tub minding my own business, and the dog was barking. My mother was like, "Nicole, shut up!" And to be a smartass, I didn't say anything. So she changed the dog's name, and then like when I was in high school, I was like, "Mom, you do know that I was being a smartass, right?" She was like, "No, I really didn't know that." She changed the dog's name to like Nadia.
No, I mean, well, I'll tell the funny story. So when I was engaged, my wife wanted to get a dog, and I've never like had a point in my life where I didn't have at least one dog, you know? And so we were talking about it, and like while we were engaged, I was like, "Oh, I'll go to the pound, I'll find us like a great dog, whatever." And she's like, "No, if the dog moves in with you before we get married, then it's going to be your dog. It won't be my dog. It won't be our dog, like whatever." So she's like, "So right after we get married, we'll go to the pound. It'll be like we'll do it the day after, because we weren't going on a honeymoon or anything like that." So we went to the pound and we saw this like almost albino dog. It was white, like it had white fur, everything. It didn't have the red eyes, so it was obviously not like albino. But we saw this dog and it was kind of cute. So we were like, "Oh, we'll get that one and we'll name it Cracker." It'll be really funny. But like when you go into like the area to like play with the dog was retarded. It almost bit me. And I was like, yeah, we're not gonna like adopt this retarded dog. So we were just looking around for like another one, and we found this other dog who was a Rottweiler kind of bloodhound mix, right? And we
Okay.
saw her and I was like, oh well, look, she's black. We should name her Shaniqua. And my wife goes, that's a great idea. And then we just named her Shaniqua. And since we were in Israel, no one would even understand why that's funny. But then of course we come back to the States with the dogs, and we're at the dog park, and the kids are running around going, Shaniqua, come here. And like the black people at the park are like, what, that dog's name? Like
Oh shit! Oh shit! Is your wife an American or an Israeli? I mean,
she's from Chicago. My wife's from Chicago.
Oh, but you met her in Israel.
Yes.
Yeah, so like she was an American there, and you were an American there, and you were like, "Yeah, let's
and it was
do
funny
this
because
thing."
people like we would tell Israelis the dog's name was Shaniqua, and they just thought it was like they thought it was funny sounding because they like obviously don't have anyone named Shaniqua in the country, but
Right.
like they didn't see that it was like kind of a dig, and so like it was this great like joke between us, especially when you'd hear like Israelis with these thick accents be like Shaniqua, come here, like it was really funny. So. But then, as I said, like they got our revenge because all the time, like the kids, and one of the kids like was learning to talk, so she kept calling her Nika. But when you're hearing her run after the dog and she was going Nika, 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 it sounded like she's saying nigga, 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 and like there were quite a few times I had to like explain that to people. Like I had to be like, guys, no, we're not like, listen, we're pretty racist, but we're not that racist. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. So, so.
So anyway, that's my racist dog name. My other one is named Khaleesi, so that we don't have a problem with her. She's my co-host, which actually she's not co-hosting at the moment. Usually she's sitting right, like she hates the idea of me like being in the studio without her like being in here, so she'll start scratching at the door. You know what I'm saying? But
So where is your studio? Is it like in your basement or?
no, we have an extra bedroom in my house, so I just said it. It's like a very small bedroom, so it would fit a kid, like, but not comfortably, like overly comfortable. So I commandeered it. But the only problem is now we have the baby who's 18 months, and we can't put him in we're planning eventually on putting him with his brother, but we can't do it right now because his brother's just not responsible enough to have like a baby. Like he would put something dangerous in the crib because he thought, the baby wanted it or something. He's just
Right.
he's not old enough to like have that level of responsibility. So the baby's in with us, And oh man, like every night, 5 times a night, the baby wakes up, screams, and then goes back to bed. So like my wife doesn't get a good night's sleep. I don't care. I don't sleep anyway, but like it's tough. I want that baby in some other room. So we're like trying to find a closet maybe or a shed. We could just put it out there for a little while.
Shed.
Like come on. No, I mean, listen, Child Protective Services, if you're listening, I wasn't serious about putting the kid in a shed. Okay, that's called a joke.
This is why I don't stream under my real name.
Oh, I don't care about that. You know what?
NPC 6670. Analytical Chick, why do you have a list of ethnic minority YouTubers in your channel description? What ethnic minority YouTubers do I have in my channel description? I know a cat named Tyrone. I don't know what you're talking about. Channel description. Let me see. Wait, my channel. Oops. Oh, yes, it doesn't. About. My tagline is I don't have.
So someone's here, and she looks either angry or confused. Oh no, now she's smiling, so we're all good. Hello, person I don't know. I'm Halsey. Nice to meet you.
Oh, hey,
Alicia. Alicia here.
Alicia, where are you from? Or
Utah.
Utah. Is you a Mormon?
Am I a Mormon? No.
How do you live in Utah then? Aren't there like 3 non-Mormons in all of Utah?
Yeah, my family.
Excellent.
It's a culture. It's a culture.
Actually like 50%. It's actually not that many.
Obviously, it's not 100% Mormon. They would just declare it's like Mormon stan and just secede.
Well,
Right.
actually, so the problem is that the majority is Mormon, which is good. I love Mormons. I love their culture. The problem stems from Salt Lake City. We have too many foreigners that moved in, like from California, and
You don't have to say anything racist, but are they like Southern mud people, ragheads, or which minority group flooded into Utah?
The yuppies.
Oh, even worse. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yuppie invasion is worse than anything.
Leftists.
Yeah, the leftist progressives. It's really crazy. They try to change our laws and change everything that makes Utah great, and we're like, go home, go home. We don't need you. So, what's the subject?
We're just shooting the shit, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Give us something good to talk about.
We were talking a little bit about CPAC, but I mean,
you mean gay pack?
Yeah. I haven't watched really any of the videos. I heard that Michelle Malkin was like the best speaker. Now, Vince from the Red Elephants basically said she was the only good speaker. I doubt that because I looked through and like one person that spoke, Janine Pirro, had a speech, and I'm sure hers was good because she's always, like she doesn't pussyfoot around. But I know what he means because I did look at the speaker list and it looked like there was a lot of, your usual scripted, cliche, Daily Wire kind of conservatives.
Do you speak to Vince?
No, I've never spoken to him.
He was a good friend of mine, and I lost his number, and then when I went to I wanted to contact him on Twitter to get his number back, and
he's on Gab.
What?
He's on Gab. You could try gabbing him.
The problem was that I can do that now. Now that you mention it, it's a good idea. But I lost one of my Twitter accounts, so I wasn't like friends with him anymore, and it just we lost touch. And I've been wanting to talk to him about a couple things. So, but now
you could try gabbing him and asking him to email you.
Yeah, let me put on my bulletproof vest and head over to Gab. As soon as I log into Gab, I just get like bum rushed by like 1,000 alt-writers. They're like, I can say whatever I want here, you fucking Jew. I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah, I open Gab, I post shit, and then I close it. I look at my notifications, that's it. I do not look at my I looked at my like my feed. I looked at my feed like a couple times ago that I logged in, and they were feeding people into my feed that like I hadn't followed. So I was getting all this like alt-right bullshit that these weren't even people I'd followed or people I'd followed reposted or anything like that. And I'm just like, well, what the fuck?
I keep getting like people that they follow me and then they send me like a message and it's like, "Hi, do you want to go over to Snapchat and get on my camera?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, do people still do this? Like,
No.
seriously?
I think people make a lot of money doing that, actually.
They
So
probably do, but I mean, I'm one of those weird people on this planet who thinks that sending nude,
Instabots.
no, like sending nude pictures like back and forth with like that is so cringe. Like, I mean, it's like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too." It's like, "Here's a picture of my dick." It's like, ew. Like, I mean, go out on a date, do something, but like, there is literally no gratification to sending a picture of your privates to someone. And have you ever heard a story where it turned out well? Where it was like, "Oh, we met up on Gab, next thing you know, there were nude pictures flying back and forth, and now we're married with 10 kids." Like, no, it's always, "Oh, then we broke up, then she put them all over every single social media channel I had, and now like even Donald Trump knows what my privates look like." That is literally the story of every nude picture that people put online.
Yo, when I used to try to date, I used to get so many nudes sent to me, like dick pics. And this is one of the reasons why I don't date anymore.
No, you're just afraid to go swimming. You'll eventually get back in the pool.
Nah.
Yeah, you don't want to be a cat lady. Come on. You don't want to be a cat lady.
I'm not going to be a cat lady.
Oh, you'll be a cat lady. You'll definitely be a cat lady. You got to get back on the horse. Come on.
Nope.
God said so.
Actually, the commandment to get married and have babies is on men.
I know. I'm aware.
Men are too busy sleeping around, so.
Yeah, that's probably true too.
So the leftos told them to do whatever feels good.
Well, I mean, that's what all of our politics is now. It's about our feelings. Like, that's all that matters is my feelings.
Well, yeah, except for when a right winger wants to feel good.
I don't know analytical chicks. So I forgot your name. What do you like?
Alicia.
Alicia, that's it. I should know that. It's my goddaughter's name. But just so you know, I am horrible with names. So tell us about you. It's nice to have someone that we haven't shot the shit with for the last year.
Well, I've talked to Alicia, but you've never met Alicia. So.
I have not.
So Alicia, this is Halsey. And Halsey, this is Alicia. Alicia is from Utah. She talks about mind control and socialism and like the really warped shit that people do to others in society. Would you say that's accurate, Alicia?
yeah, that's accurate.
So
Very
you
accurate.
mind control people into becoming socialists?
No.
No, I'm a
Expose the left and exposes.
I'm an expert in mind control, right? So I slowly give people information about mind control. I had a lot more videos on my old channel before it got deleted, but you'd be surprised how many people fall into these easy traps and how many different ways there are for controlling not only the population, but individuals. I also did heavily on cults for a while, but that ended up when I exposed the wrong cult, that ended up me completely banned, and now I had to start all over again under toxic threads, and my channel is so tiny again, and so now we get to start the rebuilding process.
Just remember, it's not about the size of the boat, it's about the motion of the ocean. So, but
well, the more in order to to break with what's happening right now to stop the coming civil war, numbers is actually important right now. It really is. We're running out of time, sadly. And we need to, stay in the game and remember that those numbers are important. They really are. And I know that sounds harsh and everything, but if we don't there's a tipping point on both sides. And both sides are about to reach that tipping point. And with the news media right now, all of a sudden pushing the narrative of civil war, we're running out of time. Not to mention with April's next month. We don't know what the truckers are going to do or not. They're going to go on strike. If that happens, we're going to go into a serious spiraling down. And if we don't find a way to break through to these leftists, it's just going to be blood on the streets, and it's going to be sad for them. This is the first time that the left will have actually lost a war, and they're going to lose it badly. And it's really sad. And I would really like to stop them from making that mistake.
Well, I mean, I personally would never think that there's going to be any kind of violence going on in this country. I think that we're a people that appreciates hugs over violence. So I think that what's going to wind up happening sooner or later is that we're all going to get together and we're going to just hug it out and find that we have more in common than we do differences. And that all we have to do is tolerate each other, and that we're going to be able to live a happy, fruitful, constitutional life forever. And you're not
I
controlling me,
like
right?
I
He's
like your
kidding.
optimism.
That's
Oh,
why I don't believe any of that. Just so you know.
oh,
He's kidding. He's making fun of the left.
oh.
Alicia, I don't know. It's kind of a big channel. She was talking about it the other day. I don't know if you subbed to her and saw this, but Patriot Nurse was also talking about like civil war. It's coming.
It's definitely coming.
Do
It's
either
just
of you subscribe to Patriot Nurse?
never even heard of her.
Oh, I know Patriot Nurse because she's really well known in my prepper circles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's more of a prepper, but I found her like kind of by accident. She still kind of talks about politics, but yeah.
Yeah, no, the time has come, but we have to stop it because the two factions that are controlling the top puppeteers are probably not the ones that we want controlling us.
Well, ain't that the
That's
truth?
the truth. Jinx. So you guys probably, well, Halsey might have heard this. Because Halsey basically lives in the same like
In the ghetto.
in the same television viewing area, but on the news tonight they were saying Ocasio Trotsky Cortez.
Goatface.
Yeah, exactly. She opened her office today in this area.
17 grand a month is the rent.
And the reason why it took so long was because she just thought she could take over Crowley's office, and the landlord for that like doubled his rent. So that means that rent was like they were doubling it to more than probably 17. Wait, you said 17,000 a month or
That's what
17?
she's paying for her office. $17,000 a month.
Whoa! And that's less than double Crowley's?
Yeah, well, remember, she's all about the poor and making sure the 1% pay their fair share. But now she has a $17,000 a month office. Her clothes cost more money than most people's cars. She's a real good
She's just towing her party line. Like my last video was on democratic socialism because I had done a video on Fabian socialism, and then I wanted to go into democratic socialism. And the democratic socialists, when you go into their actual website and where the narrative that they're pushing now is they've broken with the international socialists because they want to take power now.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason that they call each other democratic socialists is because they knew that they could never win as a socialist. And so what they do is they free ride off of the Democrats. So they've been free riding and putting socialists on Democratic tickets. That was their strategic plan. So the bottom line is they want to lift control all of society. They want to get rid of binaries. They want, and this is on their own website, and
Yes.
they want to,
Like brand
they
new
want,
Congress and Justice Democrats. This is I know this stuff is on their websites. I did a video about what Dem do that we don't do
What
because
them do that don't do? Nice.
yeah, Dem meaning Democrats, but it's like a plan where it's like Dem as in them, but it's Democrats, Dem or them, you know. But the idea is because I keep hearing there are a few YouTubers who are like conservative who are like, why isn't the RNC doing this? Why isn't the RNC doing that? And it's like, well, if you look at the flip of it, like the DNC isn't actually the ones like driving their narrative. These outside groups are actually driving the narrative. And then the DNC is actually being taken over by these other outside groups. And I said, well, maybe that's what we need to do with the Republican Party. Instead of, sitting here and going, why isn't the Republican Party doing this, that, and the other thing? Like, maybe we need to figure out a way to get some organizations and start, like, getting primarying candidates into, heavy Republican areas, primarying candidates who will, like, actually vote the way we need voting.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. That's the big problem. The Republican Party and the Democratic Party are literally the same exact thing right now, except for that the Republican Party tends to like tax cuts more than the Democrats do. But I mean, we are now on the exact same trajectory as the Dems. They're just willing to admit it a little more.
I mean, they're worse than us, but like we're not where we should be.
I'm saying, like, we're now murdering babies. We're now murdering babies that are born already, right? Like abortion is now like post birth abortion is a thing, okay? And yet we're still funding Planned Parenthood. We had a Republican House, Senate, and President for 2 years, and we could have stopped this madness of giving them $500 million a year, and we didn't. You know, we could have started the wall. We didn't. We could have addressed immigration. We didn't. We did nothing except for a tax cut. That's the only, and a whole bunch of executive orders that can be turned over in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
well, it's because they're all in office hardly anyone actually believes in what they preach. And so what they're doing is that everybody bankrupt. All the countries are bankrupt. And so they have to get their money from somewhere. So the place that is the biggest lobbyist is the medical industry, right? So they're getting all of their money from the medical industry. Now, Planned Parenthood happens to be so powerful in the medical industry. It's not just defunding Planned Parenthood, it's them losing all of the money from all of the other places that are giving them money. So it's like, even if somebody went into Washington and said, I am going to defund Planned Parenthood, that would be all that they could accomplish. But they could accomplish that. So moving forward, anybody that wants to change things and have things go towards peace, you're going to have to be a one issue person. You're only going to be able to accomplish that one issue, possibly, and then you're out. And I think that's the only way we're going to get our power, is to have people willing to do that. They have to have all of the information. They have to understand that they're going to lose everything, but they have to be willing to stand by their principles. But we don't have anyone that stands by their principles.
Nope.
No integrity.
I thought that Donald Trump was a one issue voter, and I thought it was the only real issue I care about. And then he just turned out to be the biggest cuck on the planet.
Well, I don't think, he wasn't a one issue person. If you actually looked at his campaign and how he got voted in, it was quite simple. There were 5 different issues. And I'll tell you, it was the conspiracy theorists and the anti-vaccine people that got him in office. It wasn't the build the wall people. It was not. No, despite what everybody thinks, it wasn't them. It was actually us conspiracy theory, anti-vaccine people, because it didn't matter who was there. We knew we couldn't have a Democrat in office because a Democrat would guarantee that every single way for us to get an exemption would be gone.
Wait a minute, you're one of them people?
I have 2 daughters that were severely injured, brain injuries. So please,
I'm not going to
go
make fun
ahead.
of you. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm just asking, are you one of those people?
Yes.
Okay. What happened? I mean, like, is it like legit medically, like a doctor said the vaccine did something?
Yes, the brain specialist that my oldest daughter had to go to for a year, she confirmed it. Yes, she confirmed it. Did the pediatricians confirm it? No, they won't. And as a matter of fact, what you do is you can talk to people in the emergency room, the people that work emergency rooms. They have a lot different opinion than the pediatricians, because the pediatricians, they see a kid of a few seconds and then leave. They come in, they say, okay, 9 shots today, and then they leave. They're literally in that room for like 5 minutes. Do you have kids?
Well, and he has a lot of kids.
Yeah, so
Halsey,
you know how pediatricians are now. They do nothing.
Yeah. Halsey, you I don't know if you know this, but another thing about vaccines, which I recently found out, is they contain aborted baby parts.
They do not. They contain a cell line that started with a stem cell line from an abortion, but they're lab cultured. They're not buying baby parts.
Yeah, they're actually, China is using several new cell lines. So it's all true. I mean, we don't need to turn this into a vaccine thing.
Yeah, and I really don't want to. I mean,
I'd really not. I would rather not talk about it, because I'm willing to talk about it, but I don't think anybody came here to talk about vaccines.
It's not just that. We're being nice to each other. Like, why do we want to go like kind of blood sports and start yelling at each other? Like, I mean,
well, it's the fact that it would turn into blood sports that's really sad. And I'm already on the defensive because I'm treated like shit, even though my kids were legitly damaged by it. And so automatically, if I was sitting here and I had my kid that had a severe reaction to antibiotics, I wouldn't have to be worried about being treated like shit. But instantly, when people find out I'm anti-vaccine, I'm attacked, I am ridiculed, and I have to defend the fact that my kid spent 1 year in physical therapy. And all the while, it's a hostile environment. It's not fair. Nobody that has a sick kid has to go through that. Not one person except for a vaccine injured parent. And so it's disgusting.
I'm glad that we're not talking about it, though.
It hurts my heart.
Listen, so this is Dustin.
This is Dustin.
Halsey's co-host, and this is Alicia Clegg. She talks about things like socialism and mind control.
The whole thing, I'm worried. Like, are you like mind controlling me right now? Like, am I about to like get up and start like clucking like a chicken or something?
No, come on, Halsey.
What are you talking about? Mind control from what, like MK Ultra
like
type of stuff?
Exposes it, yeah.
Like MK Ultra, and then sort of modern mind control through our new smart devices and video games and all that stuff that they're doing now.
Actually, the best way to mind control anybody, a group of people, is to stand in front of a group of people. And then you get this feedback loop.
Right.
And then the crowd actually ends up controlling themselves and keeping themselves in line. So really, it's not so much the dictator had the power, it's the people following the dictator gave him the power.
Right, so you're talking about similar techniques to like a Tony Robbins or a Joel Osteen type would use, or a Donald Trump would use at the rallies. When people chant,
Donald Trump he's fantastic.
Yeah,
I support Donald Trump 100%. But I'm saying there's very few people I will listen to politically when they're giving speeches because I understand that they're using those techniques. It's really crazy, especially when you watch it. You see that dynamic and you're like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the biggest techniques. I mean, look, even as recent as let's see, like the El Paso speech that he just did a couple of weeks ago, or the Venezuela speech. The part that bothers me right now, and we cover a lot of this on our show where we actually go into the bills, like the latest spending bill, and you show that it's a no-wall de facto amnesty bill, yet Trump is able to stand in front of the audience still, and I've been to 12 rallies, and get people to chant "build the wall," not realizing that he just did things that assured that he won't build the wall. Like, that's pretty amazing mind control techniques.
I don't support Donald Trump 100% anymore. I did. I don't anymore.
I have to see where he, I mean, right now I'm just watching as the domestic policy takes over with the lead of Jared Kushner, and he's built a coalition with George Soros, Koch brothers, and the Bush Center right now. I'm in the Chamber of Commerce. And then on domestic, in foreign policy, we're looking at Mike Pence, Mike Pompeo, and John Bolton taking over and pushing the typical neocon regime change and never-ending war. So I have to see where Trump goes with it. I'm of the belief he's in 2020 campaign mode now, and he's going to do what he needs to do to rebuild an alliance. He's not following the America First platform any longer at this stage.
He wants to be the immigration president. Like, that's it. No more. Like, you're the same thing, man. I only care about immigration. Immigration is the defining issue of our time. If there's anything that's going to lead to a civil war, it's the invasion over the border of our people. So, I mean, if he's not willing to take it seriously, which he obviously took it very seriously in the campaign, and now he's all of a sudden he's the immigration president. So
and even in the first year, despite Jeff Sessions on recusing himself over Russia and over the Hillary investigation, there was never anything where Donald Trump came out and said Jeff Sessions was going to arrest all of the deep state. I mean, that was something I think a lot of Trump supporters, probably myself included, read into it, hoped that was the case. QAnon comes along in October 2017 and starts pushing that narrative. And but in the first year, Jeff Sessions did some good things on immigration. He slowed down border crossings because there was the threat that Donald Trump was serious. Sessions filed a sanctuary city lawsuit against California. He started to set some of that in motion. But the second year of Trump's presidency, Sessions wasn't doing as much, and the border crossings went up above Obama levels. And now we're in a situation without Sessions. We'll see what happens with the new AG, William Barr. Whitaker just left today, who was the acting AG. But, I mean, we'll see with Barr. I don't have any faith because Barr is a Bushy, and Barr is also friends with Mueller. And I don't buy into the whole Q16D chess. I just haven't seen anything happen yet, and I follow all the deepest, darkest conspiracies that prove to me that there's anything like mass arrests and military tribunals coming. Nothing has showed me that that's actually real yet.
Well, does anybody know where Trump stands on philosophical beliefs? Is he an open society person, or is he a closed society? It doesn't seem like it, because it really seems like he wants to bring in immigrants, which would mean that he is open society. And if he is open society, then it doesn't matter if he's just wanting to concentrate on the high value immigrants. No matter what you do, you're still going to have an influx.
Right. Well, that's the thing. And look, Donald Trump was the first president who was not military and not an elected official. So we don't have a voting record to go off. Like, anybody else runs for president, we could pull up their voting record and look at what they supported over the years. And you say, well, you voted this way. You might have been owned by lobbyists. You might have done it because you believe it, whatever it is. But here's your record. With Donald Trump, we can only go out off of the 35 years of interviews that he did. So we know there's issues like OPEC that he's talked about for years. Asia, back in the day, he would talk about Japan cheating us, converted to China. In the last few years, before he ran for president, he started to change his stance on abortion over to pro-life. But he was pretty honest about that over the years, that he was pro-choice because he was in New York, but he really didn't think that should be something that women should do. So, we can only go off of the things that he said over the years. I personally, and look at his businesses. He used a lot of immigrants, obviously, to run, hospitality industry. But I personally think, I don't know if Donald Trump actually has a moral foundation. I've always believed he was a narcissist, not a sociopath, but a narcissist, which I believe would play into our favor because he was going to have the biggest, best wall. He wanted to be loved by the people. He was going to do the things to make America great. But I don't think he's a sociopath like the types we have in Washington, the majority that, will sell out their own families right now, flood the country with Muslims, and then not think, wait a second, what happens to my kids and grandkids? I don't think the majority in Washington think that way. They think about what they're putting in their wallet today. I don't think Trump is that way. But unfortunately, I think the more that the sort of, total MAGA loyalists who only been into politics the last couple of years, don't have an understanding of neoconservatism, modern political history, the more that they will continue to go to rallies and cheer him on when he's been doing stuff and signing policy that is not in line with America first. As a narcissist, I think that actually works against us because he doesn't have to earn our love anymore. He just believes he automatically has it. Because now he's cozying up to all the wrong people. All the wrong people are in the White House right now.
Well, the only thing that I have to go off of is that he heavily makes money on land, which is a good thing. So that would mean some nationalism to some point because you have to be able to protect your land. So that's a good thing. Also, I genuinely believe that he loves his youngest son. Everything that I've seen about that, and I feel like he wants to protect his future. And the narrative. Definitely. So the narrative going forward is that's where I get confused by it because that is on our side because he wants land for his son. He wants to keep a national sovereignty. But I really think that he truly believes that he can just bring in the high profile immigrants, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's the deal. Well, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of both. In this last spending bill, he actually doubled the number of H-1B visas. Those are the lower end immigrants, but that's the Koch brothers. I mean, this isn't a secret. I mean, the articles are being written openly about this. Jared Kushner has done interviews about this. He has the Koch brothers, Soros, and the Bush Center and Chamber of Commerce all at the table right now. They're all open borders. They're in and out of the White House every day. They were the coalition that passed the prison reform. Now, I supported prison reform during the election, the prison reform package that I had read about, which was work release programs and the beginning of trying to end the cycle of going back to prison. But this prison reform was a sham. This is what Soros and Koch brothers have been working on for 10 years. They invested over $10 million into lobbying for this. It had early release of child molesters, violent criminals, and drug traffickers in the bill. And some of the conservative members of Congress were trying to fight to get amendments to block child molesters.
Now, wait. When was that passed? When was that passed? Because I've spent the last 7 months in court watching the strangest thing. People that were violent and committed crimes over and over again, they're getting released all the time. I literally just the other day saw a man charged with rape and burglary. He only got 30 days in jail.
I know. It's crazy.
No,
that was a state case though, right?
It was.
Yeah, well, this prison reform is only for federal, but this passed on December 19th. But what happened was it ended up becoming this giant sham. How could you not put in? Oh, then there was other amendments that some of the conservative members of Congress were trying to pass, like, for instance, if somebody was getting out early, that the victim would be notified, just so they could mentally prepare. They blocked that from going through. The other was to keep records on recidivism to be able to track, if they ended up violating parole. They put that so they're not checking that. So that bill was a sham, but that was the coalition that was built by Kushner that then put through the spending bill with the de facto amnesty in there. They sent that to Trump with veto-proof majorities. He still could have vetoed it, waited 10 days, submitted his his response to it and the changes he wanted, and then forced them to go to the floor.
I did videos on that as well. You're talking about the First Step Act.
Oh, for the prison reform, yeah. And then I was just talking about the spending bill that has the de facto amnesty in it. He didn't even fight back against that, and that was done with the same coalition that did prison reform. And now Kushner's negotiating with the same people.
What people are saying is that Kushner is the one behind a lot of the.
Oh well, first off, I mean, Jared Kushner is basically running domestic policy right now. And then number two, Mike Pence just brought Mark Short in as his chief of staff last week. Mark Short was like the top Koch brother admiral. So now Mike Pence has the Kochs running his office, and Pence is in charge of the coalition with Pompeo and John Bolton running regime change in Venezuela, which was something that Donald Trump ran against, was regime change and interfering in other countries. And then Trump launched a new initiative through Pence and them that they're going to start going after and sanctioning 70 countries who don't accept homosexuality. How is that our battle? I mean, we're going to go in and start bossing around countries on how to manage their culture?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I fully support. Fully support. That's what we should send in the army to make sure that two men that fuck each other are considered the same thing as a family.
I mean,
not even that. They just want them to accept it. I'm like, this is not what Donald Trump ran on.
The only thing about that is it is kind of a fun way to troll the left, but I mean,
I'm done owning the libs. I don't want to hear owning the libs anymore.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a fun. I mean, look, fun way to troll the left. I mean,
the whole like, surprisingly, a lot of conservatives are backing this whole thing with us interfering with Venezuela, and this whole time I've been like, I don't think I like this. I don't think I like us getting involved in this. You know, I could see like having like comments, maybe making comments on Twitter, but like actually like getting involved and saying like, no, you know, we recognize, like, why is it other countries' places to recognize who the president is? Like, of that country.
Think of it this way. We're not getting a wall. We're not defunding Planned Parenthood, but we're going to get into a really cool foreign war. That's exactly what we need right now, is to charge into some poor shithole and stay there for the next 20 years.
Here's the thing: is if Lockheed Martin wants like something to keep themselves busy, we've got something for you.
Well, yeah.
We can bomb people that we should be bombing.
Well, he did. I mean, Trump got them $716 billion for year one, $700 billion for year two. So he did get Lockheed Martin a lot of money. The whole thing right now, though, is that Mike Pompeo, who is the current Secretary of State,
is using that money overseas. My thing is, Lockheed Martin should use all that money and take all those, like, for the last 20 years, I've been wondering, why do we have all these troops all over? Actually,
oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole. You know,
I asked my mother when I was a child, like, why are we getting involved with? And she would say, like, oh yeah, we're gonna flip them, and you know, they're gonna be democracies. And even as a child, I was kind of like, eh.
Yeah, but it's all, you know, it's all the military-industrial complex and the intelligence apparatus. But this whole thing in Venezuela, Mike Pence just took $53 million after Trump started with this a month ago, and now we own the problem. Mike Pence took $53 million that I know of already, started handing it out to neighboring states to deal with the refugee crisis. On our show, the first day it happened, we said, watch, we're going to end up inheriting $500,000 of these people.
To put it into 200 miles of wall.
No, we'll just think of it this way. No matter who the president is, no matter what party it is, we always end up going into all these wars. We've never reduced our 900 bases around the world. And we sit there and we say everything is so dangerous, and to protect America's interests, we have to be in all these places. Yet to protect America's interests, they won't build a wall and secure our borders. I mean, so it's all bullshit, and it's always been bullshit. And now the same people that have been flim-flamming us on this since the days of Ronald Reagan, when they tricked him into agreeing to a 2 million person amnesty and trade for a border wall, which he did not get, are the same people back tricking everyone again. I mean, this guy, Elliot Abrams, is down managing.
Because everybody's kids get into politics. And, like, I mean, you look at my state, we've got Governor Cuomo, the son of Governor Cuomo.
Oh, exactly. And then you got his brother over at CNN as the chief propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, I mean,
CIA News Network.
Yeah, it's you know, it's the elites continue to run this, and a lot of these families are tied back into the CIA, tied into the Council on Foreign Relations. I mean, that stuff's all open record. But this regime change in Venezuela is ridiculous. A lot of this was caused because of Obama and Hollywood's support of Hugo Chavez. And if anything, Trump should have gave a speech. If he wanted to point out socialism and how crappy Venezuela was, to tie that back for a campaign issue against Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders and those people here, all he had to do was give a speech to the Venezuelans and go, look at the shithole down there. You know who caused that? Barack Obama and Hollywood. So that's it. But I'm not doing anything about it. It's not our problem. You know, you guys wanted to do the deal with the half black guy in Hollywood. That's your fault. I don't know what to tell
you know what we should say? We should say it's Sean Penn's problem.
Exactly.
You know,
you tell him to go down there.
Danny Glover's problem.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Have those guys down there clean up the mess. They're the ones who created it.
Yep.
But you know, for us to do this, and Analytical Chick, I think you would probably know Tom Luongo. He's explained his theory that he believes this is all.
Her other co-host.
He believes
is still here, or she's she said be right back.
Well, Tom believes this is all tied into you know, a neocon strategy of basically creating a South American competitor to OPEC. All has to do with the petrodollar.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is Mike Pompeo, our Secretary of State, who's actually running the operation down in Venezuela. Mike Pompeo, when he was a congressman, his largest donor over his, I think, 9 years as a congressman were the Koch brothers. He took over $500,000. And the Koch brothers,
right?
Right. And the Koch brothers, $92 billion are in the oil industry. They build manufacture petroleum-based products. So, I mean, all this stuff ties in. This is just what worries me about Trump. I don't know if he was sincere when he ran or he wasn't. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, right now, he still has Obama holdovers in the White House. He's surrounded by Bushies, and now his Department of Justice, the AG, is William Barr, a Bushie who's best friends with Mueller, admittedly, and the deputy AG who's going to be taking over for Rod Rosenstein is a Bushie. So now the Bushes control the Department of Justice, and people wonder why Jon Stewart yesterday testified and said, I love Trump's DOJ. Yeah, because it's run by the Bushes, and you know they're going to end up sandbagging Trump.
So, guys, I gotta get out of here. We got a show in 20 minutes, and I gotta start setting stuff up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, thank you very much for having us. It was a pleasure meeting you, Alicia, and I hope we get to scrap on these things at a later date. It'll be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on over to my channel. Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks.
All right.
Holy cow. I locked myself out of my office for a second. It was pretty funny.
So
my brain is somewhere else. Always somewhere else. The last 7 months have just been awful. Awful.
Yeah, I barely been talking to you. Like it was like, oh, she lost her channel. And it was like I was kind of in my own world, and I didn't even notice until I think it was a while after it happened. I think somebody messaged me and asked me about it.
It was really weird because it was up and running at midnight, which is weird. I had stayed up late, and then I just got asked a question. Ryu, I am not Rh negative. However, my daughter and my granddaughter are Rh negative. So there you go. We're getting that negative blood in our bloodline. I'm like being kind of like a eugenicist, not a eugenicist, like a gene selection person. And I'm building my nice little army of humans. That's horrible. Okay. Shouldn't have made that joke, but it's okay. It's okay.
What?
No, you know, the Rh negative. Have you ever watched any, do you know your blood type analytical?
Yeah, I'm a B positive.
You're a B
positive.
So you should actually, when you start studying blood, it is a fascinating thing, regardless of any of the conspiracy theories, because you can actually, did you know that your blood type is actually really good to have because you will have more bacteria on your skin. And so historically, you would be a healthier person and be able to stave off germs a little bit easier than, say, somebody with O blood. This is fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. The Asians have it correct by studying blood type. It's quite marvelous. But yeah, it was taken down without any strikes. No strikes. They didn't tell me which video it was. So we went through a lot of different people to try to find out what it was, what exactly it was. And they, you know, they flat out just, it
So
came down to, it was one video. It was one video. And it was, this billionaire is the one that got me done. I'm done.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the information is on BitChute, and I just
yeah,
haven't gotten it.
yeah. So, well, what do you do? And it really was because I was starting to look at the Church of Perpetual Life. That church is a church, and I started looking at it, and then I had to back off a little bit. So I'm gonna have to wait. I've watched their videos. I've all of their videos. I like stalk them now because I want to learn everything about them. And does that mean, Ryu, that does not mean you're an alien? Maybe though. And that would be a good thing. No. No, what what you'll find out is that there's probably there's a lot with science that's contra, all the information is kerfumpled, right? Because with anything that we have in life, you have the old guard and then you have the new guard. And realistically, until the old guard dies off, it's really hard to make any changes in that. Look how long they did bleeding. I mean, our president, Washington, he believed in bleeding all the time. He got bled when he got sick, and that took forever to change. Or think of how long it took for us to get doctors to wash their hands. And that terrifies me. And that's always what I say about the, you know, why women should get the vote, even though we don't get drafted, is because if you look through history, women have died in childbirth almost at the same rate as men have died in war. So that is our contribution to society, giving birth, because it's dangerous. Not so much now, but back then.
Yeah.
So, jitterbug perfume. I did not. Did not.
Tom Robbins?
Isn't he the guy that wrote, I think I have one of his books though. I don't know where it's at. It's a book that has a teapot on it. So the teapot is red, if anybody knows. I tend to remember pictures more than actual words.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, so that's how I would get A's on tests, is because I would stick it with a picture and then I could just remember. One person that was also the one with the camel pack. I don't know if there was a camel pack on it. I think maybe. That's funny, Real Raven. But anyway, so I got it deleted. I was really upset. I cried so hard. I cried so hard. I didn't think I would cry that hard. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. I just can't. I can't do this anymore. What's the point? And then I remembered that it's not about me. It's about my granddaughter and my daughter's future. And if I don't at least try, if we don't at least try, then what good are we? Right?
Right?
And that's all we have.
There's a meme, I haven't seen in a while, but there's a meme where it has like a little girl in like the Sharia outfits. You know, the blue one where you have like a net in front of your eyes. She says, "Daddy, what did you do to stop, you know, the invasion or whatever?" And he says, "Well, I tried not to be called a racist."
Well, it's true. And I still, you know what's funny is I remember the first time that I was called a racist over a religion, which it floored me, and I was really confused about it. Like, it genuinely confused me. It was during the election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, right? And this guy on Facebook was my friend. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but he was nice enough, right? He was nice enough, and he started making videos on Facebook, and it was weird. So I was like, okay, I'll watch it. So then I'm watching one where he's walking all stoically, you know, and he has his hands in his pockets, and he's talking about how important this election is. And we need to vote for Hillary Clinton. And I was like, what?
Oh.
Like, say what? It threw me off, you know? And so I said something, And he goes, well, Donald Trump is a racist. And I go, who's he a racist against? Just asking questions. And he said against the Muslims. And so all I said, because I was genuinely, you have to remember, I was genuinely confused. And I said, but Muslim isn't a race. And he called me an effing bitch and then deleted me. And I was like, what? Because it's not. Like, it genuinely is not. It doesn't even, like, my, it makes my brain hurt. It's not racism. You can be against any ideology. Why can't I be against their ideology? It doesn't make sense to me. Oh no. I don't know, people. What do you think? Why can't we be against somebody's ideology? Jiminy crickets, right? I don't like commies. I hate commies, and the majority of them are white. Damn it. Well, I mean, like in America, obviously, China, duh. But so yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is these people, like, also this whole Islamophobia thing. It's like I started at one point #infidelophobia. Afraid of infidels. Your rational fear of infidels, infidelophobia.
That's good. We should start that.
If everybody wants to do me a favor and try to work that into a tweet every once in a while.
Yeah. Infidelophobia.
Another hashtag that I wanted to start was Brown Hillary, referring to Kamala Harris. Hashtag Kamala Harris. Because she slapped her way to the top. That's not very feminist.
Or isn't it? Like, isn't it the feminist mantra to be like a super whore, like to just sleep around?
Now it is.
I think it was like in the 60s, wasn't it? Isn't that where it started? They all wanted to, like, the hippies started it. They all wanted to be like, I'm gonna get my groove on.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I just think it's just kind of gross, and it's not, to each their own. To each their own.
The modern day left, actually, a lot of it came from Aleister Crowley, and his whole thing was like to turn morality upside down and to convince people to basically like follow their baser natures, and he seems to have done a really good job.
Yeah,
and let me tell you, another odd thing is this Aleister Crowley. I think he might have been like the grand. I looked and I couldn't find it like on anything Googling, but I'm guessing that Aleister Crowley was probably like the grandfather or something of Joe Crowley, because literally they look exactly alike.
Ooh.
But the age is like
that's crazy. That's crazy.
So and Aleister Crowley, he started out in the UK. He ended up in Queens, and Joe Crowley is from Queens.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm willing to bet. Okay, maybe not a lot, but I suspect that they're relatives. That he was like the grandfather or the like great uncle or something. I mean, they look like, you see the pictures and you think it's the same guy. That's how close they look. Like identical twins.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would love to see the bloodlines on there. It's always fascinating. But I have to wrap this up because the baby girl is getting a little bit nasty. But I did want to come on your show and let you know that my channel was decimated. I'm rebuilding, and I am slowly rebuilding. It's a little bit harder with the new algorithms and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm slowly rebuilding.
Everybody in the chat, subscribe to Toxic Threads. Let's put her channel in the chat. Put your channel in the chat.
It's Toxic Threads. Oh, do I have actual power to do that? Did you give me? Oh yeah, you gave me a tool, huh?
I did.
Oh, that's right, because you trust me. It's all part
You're
of
like
my
one of the first people I modded.
plan. Here we go. I'll do
Because
it.
you would,
Okay,
you know why?
copy.
Because you would post like links and they would go into moderation, and I'm like, she can post whatever she wants, like whatever.
I think I think I did it. There you go. She got mine. There
Oh
we
wait,
go.
you're not modded because
Oh, did it not? Oh.
because you're a different account.
Huh.
Remember?
Oh, yeah. That's right. See what happens? I know. And what's funny is because the people that used to know me, they call me Elisha still, right? But then the new people call me Toxic. So it's kind of like people are like, "Who the hell are you talking about?" I don't know. Who are you talking about? I don't know who are you talking about, but
Toxic. You should make like oh no, you can't because it'd be like copyrighted. I was gonna say Britney Spears Toxic, like somehow you could use that, but
oh, that
I
would be
wouldn't
cool.
mess with copyright when
Yeah.
you had a channel go get sunk down. I
I
don't
could
mess
buy
with
the song. It costs like 10 grand, but yeah, maybe I'll do a fundraiser. I'll
and
be like, I want to buy the rights to Britney's song. And I
it
think,
might there are you can look on YouTube. There's a section
yeah,
that
where they
actually
have
tells
the
you like
songs.
um which songs you can use, and surprisingly there are some songs that are like pop songs that are surprisingly open source that people can use. There's a way to look it up on YouTube. Like you have to go, I don't know how to do it in Studio Beta, but it was in like Classic Studio,
Yeah, I'll have to
and
check
there
that out.
yeah. I'll see if I
Yeah,
can find it and I'll email you the info.
that's true. Ro Raven can always make a parody. He's really good at songs and everything like that. But it was good. It was good. It was good to
Yes.
meet your friends. That was interesting. A little bit strong. I like that. Meeting some new strong people. Because it's
Yeah,
always
maybe they should have you on their channel.
so they're a team,
Pretty much. I actually invited one of them because I figured like it would be interesting to just have one of them because they usually come on together, but they both came on, so
That was interesting. Good. All right, I'm gonna go put
okay.
baby girl to bed, and it was great to see you, analytical chick, and
Yes.
great to see everybody in the chat and whatnot. And as always, I love everybody. I love everybody.
All right.
Everybody. All
Thanks for
right.
stopping by my channel, everybody, and I'll see you all next time.